Welcome as we gather to celebrate and reflect upon the gospel for the 16th Sunday of Ordinary Time. Today we're standing in the kitchen of the rectory here at 30 Union Street, and it's a place where I am always reminded of my parents, actually. Both my mother and father would cook for the 6 of us and my grandmother, so 9 of us all together in the house. And so I have great memories of them working together to make sure that everything was prepared on time and the meals were good and nutritious for all of us. And even though we sometimes would not appreciate all the meals that they made, we certainly, looking back on it now, I can appreciate that all of this very important activity of cutting lettuce and chopping vegetables and standing over the stove and watching the oven and even baking goodies for dessert, that this was all part of the way my parents expressed love for us. And today's gospel reminds us that Martha too wanted to express love for Jesus. And so what she, of course, immediately got up to do was to serve him by doing what she did best. However, I think that Martha, like all of us, sometimes want to serve Jesus with what we have, and sometimes we need to put that aside in order to reflect a little bit upon Jesus and who he is and what he's done for us. And that's actually the second part of the gospel. We've moved upstairs now to the second floor of the rectory. I have the privilege of having a small chapel here in the rectory. And we have our tabernacle and a chair to pray from, and I have a kneeler here. And so it's just a great opportunity when I need to come and sit and reflect and think about and pray to God. I have the privilege of having this, the presence of the Lord in the Eucharist here in the chapel. And this also, I think, is a part of our spirituality. It is a place where I've learned from a long time ago, again with the example of my parents who brought us to church on Sundays, who encouraged us to participate in the life of the church, whether it was through youth group or religious education or doing service projects, and ultimately sometimes just going to sit in the church and be with the Lord all by yourself. And so this is also a part, I think, of the gospel, that Mary understood that to go and to just be with Jesus, even though he may have wanted to eat as Martha was preparing the meal for him in the kitchen, as Jesus says that sometimes just to sit with him is the better part, to recognize that we're not going to solve every problem or perhaps overcome every difficulty, but sitting in the presence of the Lord brings us a deep peace, the understanding that God loves us beyond all telling. And then having recognized that within our own lives, our heart and souls, then we are able to be peaceful and images of Christ for others also in their turbulent times. We need to remember also that Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem, and so perhaps he was also someone who needed someone to just sit with him, to help him to confront what it was that he was going to face as he went to Jerusalem for his crucifixion, his death and resurrection. And so as we continue to reflect on this day, as we celebrate this Sunday in Ordinary Time, I hope that all will always remember that that's both parts of our spirituality, both parts of our expressions of love for God and neighbor are witnessed to by our work in the kitchen, whatever that means for us metaphorically, and also by our work, our sitting with the Lord quietly in the chapel. Both serve the Lord and help us to help others. And that actually is the point of it all. God bless you.